Hello everyone, a very warm welcome again. Now we are talking about Business Communication KMB 107 report writing. I am Assistant Professor Sanandi Sachdeva from Jaipuria Institute of Management and AKATO affiliated institute. So in this lecture we will be talking about report writing. So the two major areas that we will be covering in this lecture are the formats of the report. What are the various formats that are included when it comes to report writing, and then we will be learning about developing outline of a report. What are the major parts when we develop the outline of the report. Taking you to the first part, students, the format of the report. Now students, let me first explain you through a diagrammatic representation. When it comes to format of the report, a report may be a short informal or a semi-formal report. A report may be long informal, which is also lying under the category of a semi-formal report, or the report could follow the formal report format, students. So let us talk about the short, informal or the semi-formal report, students. Now these are the reports which are usually used for intra-organizational or inter-organizational purposes. Let me first explain you what are intra-organizational and inter-organizational purposes. Whenever we are talking about an intra-organizational purpose, that means the report is bound to stay within the organization. Whenever we are talking about the inter-organizational purpose, students, the report is going outside the organization. So when it comes to short, informal or semi-formal report, the structure could have the following elements. It comprises of the title, the introductory statement, which can also be called as the opening statement, or the introductory part that will suggest that what is the matter or the thing that we have been going to discuss in the report. It will have the body of the report, the conclusions and the recommendation, students. Now whenever we are talking about short, informal or semi-formal report, it might further follow certain formats. Number one, students, is the pre-printed report. Now students, what is a pre-printed report? It is the printed stationery that has been given to the individual who is making that report, and the people who are actually reading this report, they will tick the particular options or the boxes that has been given, and from those ticked boxes the person who is writing the report will gather the information, and then he will make the report when or whenever he or she requires. Okay. So a pre-printed report is a printed stationery that is used to give the relevant information. The writer is required to fill from the options that have been given, and this report can be used to present later wherever that data is analyzed, students. A basic example could be, you might have gone to malls a lot of times, and over there you are actually filling up a quick survey form about your holiday preference, and usually Club Mahindra is doing that for you. So you are just focusing upon that, do you like going to hills, or do you like going to a beach, or do you like going by an aeroplane, or do you like going by rail, a train, or do you like going through car, right? Or are you an adventure seeker and you love biking and you like to go through a bike? So you usually tick those options, and then a report can be devised based upon that survey, that how many individuals are actually liking to go by car, and then the company can devise its own strategy that what all can be put up to make the car more sturdy, so that people can go for a staycation on the hills. Okay. So this is what we call as a pre-printed report. So basically you need to focus that it is a kind of short, informal or semi-formal report which already has a printed stationery, which is just to be filled by the people who are reading that particular stationery. Next is a letter report, students. As the name suggests, it is somewhat similar to a formal letter or a letter that you write. So the sections it has is It will have a letterhead, students. What is letterhead? Letterhead is a printed stationery that an organization uses. It has the name of the organization, it has the logo of the organization, the address of the organization, and the major contacts that are used in the organization. Then it will have the inside address, then it will have the salutation, a complimentary close, and the signature block. So students, as you can relate, this is somewhat similar to a letter itself. That is why it is also called a letter report. Now how will you write a letter report? You need to take care, students, that the letter report is written in first person and in active voice. For example, you will not write it has been recommended, because it is not the usage of first person and it is not in active voice. Instead, you will be writing that I recommend that. It is found that most of the individuals are actually choosing car over rail transport or two wheelers. So the car can have the following features, for example. So this would be a letter report. Now when it comes to a letter report, it is of course more structured than a letter, because it will have various sections with headings and subheadings that are clearly defining the purpose of that particular report. But yes, the report will do come under the category of short informal or semi-formal report. Moving on, students, letter report is more structured than a letter. As I just told, that the body of the letter would have sections and subsections that will be giving a detailed insight about that particular topic that has been talked about. Moving on, students, we are coming to a memo report. As the name suggests, memo report is again similar to memorandum, which is an intra-organizational tool, students. We have already discussed that what is an intra-organizational tool. It is a tool that is used whenever we are talking or staying within the organization. So this written communication, a memo report, again is going to stay within the organization. So intra-organizational by nature, the reader belongs to the organization only, and he or she is sending the report within the organization only. So the audience is well known, as well as the purpose is well known, as well as the backdrop of the problem is well known. So such kind of report is very quick and a very short report. It will not cover the details, because you already know the audience well, plus you already know the backdrop, why the report is being prepared, what is the purpose the report is going to serve. So a memo report is a very quick 1 or 2 pager report. Okay. So unlike a letter report, memo does not require any kind of detailed background that I just explained, and the level of understanding of the audience is well known, because you are actually dealing with the people who are the part of the organization, of the same organization that you are a part of. So you do have done the audience analysis, you have a complete understanding about them. So coming to the second category, students, I hope the first category is clear. We talked about the short, also called semi-formal short reports, and we did 3 major categories. One is pre-printed, one is letter report, and one is memo report. So moving on, I am coming to long or informal report, students. As the name suggests, longer than what we have just covered, but they are again informal in nature. So such reports are very detailed. These reports comprises of more sections as compared to short reports. So these reports will have a title page which will tell you about what the report is all about, a summary, usually an executive summary that talks in brief about what is the report about, what analysis has been made, what are the recommendations that have been made, and it will also give a quick conclusion of what is there in the report. It is often termed as executive summary in a report. The introduction, what the topic is all about, the body of the report. Students, the body of the report covers a lot of sections and subsections. It usually discusses everything that has been required to be put in the report. Then it will also cover the findings and the discussions that are based upon the findings. It will make conclusions and recommendations. Recommendation, students, is again a very important part. And over here also the recommendations are to be made in first person and active voice. Now an individual can put certain attachments if he or she feels necessary. in the appended part. Attachments are going to give a complete detailed knowledge to the ones who want a complete knowledge about what the report is all about. That is why they are put in attachment, because you do not want to waste the time of the reader who just want a glimpse about that particular thing and do not want to refer to the attachments. So, attachments are always optional, students. Okay students, I hope you are clear with long and informal reports. I am moving on to the formal report category, which is third category when it comes to the format of report writing, students. So, the formal format, now this student is an inter-organizational tool. That means this formal report is not going to stay within the organization. It is not an intra-organizational report, it is an inter-organizational report. So, students, what will be the word of caution? The word of caution will be that this report has to be prepared more intricately, keeping in view all the points, alright. So, these reports can start from a minimum of 10 pages and it can go up to 100 pages, students. So, the minimum length could be 10 pages, nothing short than 10 pages considered to be a formal report usually, but then as I have just said that it may vary from organization to organization, alright. Okay. Now, these report can also be up to 100 or 200 or more than that, depending upon the need and the purpose of that particular report. Moving on. Acha, one thing more that you need to take care is this report is always written for a large audience and the writer of the report is unknown. Students, what do you mean by writer of report is unknown? That means this report has been prepared on the behalf of the organization. So, the organization is delivering the report to its probably the shareholders, the creditors, the customers. So, the writer of the report is unknown in terms this report has been prepared on the behalf of the organization, and on behalf of the organization the report is presenting certain facts, figures, analysis, recommendation, conclusion to the intended audience. Moving on, students, talking more about formal reports. These reports are very methodological and they are highly structured. Of course, since the report is inter-organizational, the report ought to be extremely methodological. It should follow a proper format, should have proper sections, subsections presenting each and every requirement. It is highly structured and structure is considered very important here. We will talk about the structure, that how a formal report can be well structured. Moving on, the sections could be a title page, the executive summary that I just talked about, the table of contents, the TOC, illustrations, figures used within the report, the body of the report which consists of sections and subsections, then the conclusions, the recommendations that have been made based upon the report, what are the future projections, and references and appendices if any. References would obviously be there because every report has certain references because it has referred to the previous report or maybe certain kind of statistics. So, references are always there. Appended part, there could be an attachment or not, that is optional. Since the report are very formal in nature, so they are written in third person and passive voice, students. As I just told you, in informal reports the voice is active whereas the person is first, but unlike that, when it comes to formal report, we need to take care that the report is always written in third person and it should be in passive voice. For example, we were using the word I recommend that when we were talking about the semi-formal reports, but now when it comes to formal report, you need to take care that you can write things like it has been recommended that, alright. So, I hope I am clear with it. Now, the example of such report could be a proposal, a feasibility report that checks the feasibility of the project, whether it is feasible or not in terms of many things. It could also be a business plan. Moving on, students, this is a quick recap of what we have just done. We have covered the three kinds of format when it comes to report writing. First one being short informal or semi-formal report, the second one being long informal, which is also a semi-formal report, and the third one is the formal report. When it came to the short informal or the semi formal report, we talked about pre-printed report, we talked about the letter report, and we talked about the memo report. Memo report is basically an intra-organizational report, whereas letter report can be intra-organizational or inter-organizational. Moving on, students, now we have talked about that what all will be the formats that we will be using while we are devising a report. But now when we are developing the outline of the report, we need to take care of three important areas. Every report will follow these three important areas. We call them as sections of the report, that whenever we are presenting a report, what sections would the report have? The first section would be the prefatory part. Students, as the name suggests, preface, it is the introductory or the initial part of the report. Next, you have the main part of the report or the body of the report. This is the main part of the report that talks about what has been intended to deliver to the audience. And the last part is the appended part, students. We will talk about its elements in detail. Okay. So, students, coming to the prefatory part, which is the first part of the report, you need to understand that prefatory part helps in setting the tone right for the report. So, this can help in building the goodwill with the audience. This can also help in creating an impression in terms of the audience. It could be a letter of acknowledgement, students, or a letter of transmittal that you have put in the prefatory part. It will always have the executive summary, which is again a salient part of the prefatory part, because it will actually summarize that what all is there in the report. So, those who are quickly deciding to read the report, they may also go through the executive summary, and they may actually relate that what all is there in the report, what recommendations have been made, what are the concluding parts of the report. The prefatory part will always have a title page, the table of contents. So, all these things are found in the prefatory part, students. Let me just quickly give you the points covering prefatory part. It would have the title page, students. It will have the acknowledgement. It will have the letter of transmittal. This is optional. It will have the table of contents. It will always have the executive summary. All right. Coming to the second part, students, which is the main part while writing a report. So, under the main part, you need to again check the expectation of the audience, that what are the audience expecting while you are covering this particular report. You need to, now students, whenever we talk about the audience, you need to take care of two important things. First is the expectation of audience, and second is the level of understanding of the audience, students. Now, students, if my report is full of jargon, technical words, acronyms that are used in my organization, at that particular point of time, it is very difficult for a layman to comprehend my report. So, if my report is having a lot of jargon, so at that particular point of time, it becomes tough for the individual who is unaware of the jargons to present or to understand that report. So, you need to keep in mind that who is your audience and what is the level of understanding of the audience. If your audience is from the organization, then at that particular point of time, you may use jargons, because an individual working in IT sector will be understanding that technical jargon. But students, if your report is supposed to go outside the organization, then using that jargon is a big no-no, because the individual who is reading your report will not be able to understand that jargon, and it will become a barrier for that individual to comprehend that report. It will definitely give a rise to semantic barrier, because semantic barriers arise whenever there is any kind of information that is not understood by the individual, because the words that have been used in the information are very, very tough to comprehend. So, students, audience expectation, that what my audience is expecting out of this report, and audience understanding, that means that how much the audience understand, or gauging their level of intelligence, gauging their level of knowledge about that particular subject has to be taken care of. you also need to govern the answers that are arising in the mind of the people while they are reading your report. Whenever we are writing the report, we do understand that at this particular part, people may ask this particular question. So, you need to make the report in a manner that minimum questions are being turned in the mind of the people, because there might be a possibility that those particular questions are not answered by you then and there. So, it might not create the proper comprehension of your report, students. So, moving on, recommendations given in the body of the report usually are considered the starting point for thoughts and discussion. Students, whenever we are discussing about the main part, as I told you that this is the major part that has to be focused upon. So, recommendations are also made in the part. Now, after recommendation, what happens? Once recommendations are made, the thought and the discussion about that report, what the report intended to be presented for, arises after the recommendations have been made. Okay. The last part, students, is the appended part. As the name suggests, this is the part that allows the writer to include some of the important information in the end, and that information is not intended to be presented in the middle of the report. Okay. So, this satisfies the need of getting a detailed information, which is important for some readers, but students take care of the fact that it might not be important for some readers. So, it is important for certain readers, but not for everyone. That is why it is always put in the appended part and it is not put in the main part or the body of the report. Now, some readers may not require this appended part to understand the recommendations or to understand the argument that has been taken care of while the report is being structured, but some might need it. For those who might need it, an appended part is always made in a particular report, just to give add-on things so that a detailed comprehension can take place. Students, some of the key elements of appended part are data collection forms. Some people may ask, especially when it comes to research, it could be the journal tables, it could be the detailed calculation and the bibliography. Moving on, students, let me take you to the 3 sections and what are the parts that are catered when it comes to these 3 sections. We have already talked about the prefatory part, students. The prefatory part includes the title page, the acknowledgement, the letter of transmittal, the table of contents and the executive summary. Coming to the main part or the body part of the report, which will have a lot of sections and subsections explaining the complete context of the report. It will be the introduction, introducing the topic of the report and why the report has been made, telling about the purpose of the report. It will have the literature review, every literature that you have reviewed to make this particular report, again a very important element, because it will give the base, it will set the tone right for what you have been researching and what you are intending to be presented in the report. Next would be your methodology. What methodology have you used? What kind of data you've used, whether you've used the primary data or you've used the secondary data. Then it will always have the limitations that while you were doing this research work or writing this report or presenting it, what were the limitations that were faced. Then it will have the results and findings, that what are the results or the findings that you have drawn from the report. It will have the discussions, it will have the conclusion and it will have the recommendation. Now, students, when we are going to follow the semi-formal structure, the recommendations will always be in active form and in the first person. But whenever we are focusing upon a formal report, the recommendations will always be in the passive form, plus first person will never be used. So, whenever we are making a report, we need to take care that what kind of report structure are we following, whether it is a formal report structure or it is an informal report structure. So, accordingly our recommendations will be made and accordingly we will be focusing upon the language of the recommendation. Last is, students, the appended part. When it comes to the appended part, you will find appendix, the data collection form in it, any kind of data collection forms that you have included through the report, through the research work, that will be put. Now again, this appended part is not included in the main body part because some readers might find it very long for this appended part to be talked about. Moving on, you will have the detailed calculation in the appended part only, then the journal table or the bibliography, and then the other support material is always given in the appended part. Now students, this appended part will always help you or will always help the reader to understand the detailed context of a particular report. Alright. So, let us just quickly take some of the things in mind. Students, when it comes to the format of the report, whenever we are following informal or what we call as semi-formal or formal report, we need to take care that the outline will be highly differentiating. Now, both these formats are going to follow the outline that we have just talked about, but at times the formal report is going to follow the same format in a more structured manner rather than an informal report or a semi-formal report. Informal report is supposedly going to have a few parts of the outline that we have just talked about, but it is not going to be a complete structured report since the report is semi-formal. And whenever the report is semi-formal, students, it is going to act as an intra-organizational report. It is usually going to stay within the organization, and some of the organization do not tend to waste a lot of time in framing the reports, and they actually believe in working more than framing the report. So, at that point of time, the outline is minimized and just fragmentary part and fragmentary knowledge is being presented, so that a quick analysis can be made and then they can draw certain conclusions. So, we need to take care that during short or informal or semi-formal reports, there might be a possibility that the outline that we have discussed might not complementing that particular semi-formal report, and all the structures or so all the parts are not followed. But when it comes to students, the formal report, the part that we have talked about, the three main parts and the subparts of those three main parts are definitely followed when it comes to a formal report. So, students, for when I need to cover the references, you may go to these two books, and whenever we are talking more about it, you can learn from them, and that will be all. Thank you.